No, you see that's where you're wrong. I actually never run.
Oh, wow.
Because that's a good way to break an ankle or something.
Oh, true.
Trip on a dog toy.
Yes.
So I never run. And
Taunt a cougar.
yeah.
Never run from
Come at me.
I have the
Wild
best
cat.
intentions.
Or come and get me, a woman in her late 40s.
Hello, and welcome to the Royal Highness podcast, where we watch each episode of the Max series Game of Thrones for the first time while enhanced with cannabis products, and then we talk about it while we're still enhanced with cannabis products. And I am on a new kind of cannabis product tonight that I hadn't tried before, and I'm very happy with it. Because there was a point in this episode, I told you earlier, that I laughed for a solid 10 minutes, and I can't wait to get there. So we just started season 3, and so far, yeah, but it's only episode 2 tonight. So episode 1 was just a lot of exposition on what happened in season 2, pretty much. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Spencer.
Hi, Eileen.
Oh, geez. Like, oh, hey.
It's been a day.
Well, you've had more of a day than I have had. But
I had a very long day.
yeah.
But hey, you know what? It's okay. I'm here.
Okay.
Right on time.
Right on time. I mean, almost to the minute. And you were here
Yeah.
before me. So,
Barely.
yeah. Okay. So season 3, episode 2, Dark Wings, Dark Words. That does not roll off the tongue. This was made to be read and not verbalized.
Not spoken. Darkwing.
Dark Wings, Dark Words.
That's it.
So what did you?
Let's get dangerous.
Yeah. What did you think of this episode, Spence?
I didn't really think of this episode.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that
Darkwing Duck would have been a
Could've done
nice save
I got to watch
somewhere in the middle.
58 minutes of Darkwing Duck. That'd have been all right. I spent the majority of this episode
So
oogling women.
Okay.
I got to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was?
I just kept looking at Marjorie.
Oh, she's pretty. I like her.
yeah,
she's
I know.
pleasing to
And that's
look
why I
at.
kept looking at her.
Very much so.
That's pretty much all I did.
Okay,
And
so-
there's some cool shit that happened though, and a couple of good jokes.
Oh,
So
Yeah. So Max tells us that Sansa says too much. Duh. She always says too
because her mouth came
Right.
open.
Shay asks Tyrion for a favor. Jamie finds a way to pass the time. Ew. That's a dumb. Tells you nothing. That tells you nothing. And Arya runs into the Brotherhood without banners.
Okay, that's what it said, because mine just said Arya runs into the ...
You have to hit the little thing that says more. And it gives
There
you-
was no more option. It just said play. And
Weird.
so I watched. And the whole while I'm like, come on, what did she run into? She ran into the what? What am I?
That leaves
Do
open a
what?
whole raft. It's way more interesting. Whatever you came up with is way more interesting than what they run into.
Arya runs into the Harlem Globetrotters. Arya runs into the wall. And not the wall in the north, but Pink Floyd, the wall. She gets one of those creepy masks and falls into the meat grinder. That movie terrified me, and I'll never be the same.
You were a mere child when you saw it, I'm going to guess.
I was probably 11 or 12. Yeah. Like, oh, God. And I love that album. It's fucking fantastic.
It is. It's a good album. Okay, so
It's
my
Pink Floyd, of
description
course.
for this would just be Diana Rigg, motherfuckers. Because she's in this episode.
Well, you know what?
Hmm.
I was distracted by a different name in the opening sequence.
I didn't see her name in the opening sequence. I saw it in the end credits.
I'm supposing that was who was that?
Oh, we'll get to it.
Uh, Is that our new favorite old lady? Okay. Before we go any further, I want to mention that I had a wish, a pre-episode wish.
Mhm.
And it was this simply. I don't want to see Joffrey this episode. or Cersei.
Well, we find out what happens
That's-
to wishes and prayers and shit in this episode. So you know what
Yeah.
happened to that wish.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, pretty much right there.
Yep.
And then the name I got distracted by was Una Chaplin, which is Talisa. And I looked her up. Sure enough, Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. How cool is that? I did not know that.
I have. Who does she play?
Talisa, the queen, Rob's wife.
Oh,
Little Miss Fix-a-Stump.
yeah.
Yeah.
#1 tab on Pornhub.
Pornhub.
Yep. So, okay. So, do you have a better description or?
No.
Okay. So then, before
be careful who you sword fight with.
There you go. That's actually more interesting, but
yours was more like, hey, old lady.
yeah. So I give myself the giggles thinking about that scene. Okay. Before we get into this episode, last week's episode, blah blah blah, snow zombies, a giant, a benippling occurred to show how tough the slave soldiers are. To be fair, I couldn't have taken it and just like gone back into lines. And we meet Mance Rayder, who looks like Snape on a camping trip.
I think we agreed Rance Mater, the wall.
That's right.
The wall behind the king.
Rance Mater.
Rance Mater. I'm never going to call him anything.
Well, he looks like Snape on a camping trip.
Yeah, he does have this. Snape on a camping trip. I've been in these woods for so long, Mr. Potter.
Oh my god. It's Scoutmaster Snape.
I like that better than Dollar Store Stephen Fry.
I really, really want that cartoon now. Somebody draw that for me. Scoutmaster Snape. Okay, anyway.
I like it.
Okay.
I'm not a Harry Potter. This is normally when I put the mic down and walk out of the room in a fit of anger because you brought up Harry Potter, but I'm on board with Scoutmaster Snape.
Okay, so
better make sure to get your badges, Mr. Potter. I'm not good at doing an Alan Rickman. He's R.I.P. Too fucking awesome.
Okay, so we get our opening sequence: King's Landing, Dragonstone, Harrenhal. And I said, oh, that's the city that looks burnt. It's always looked that way. And it's like, oh, no, wait. Winterfell is smoking and charred.
Yeah.
But the tree looks okay. Phew.
Well,
because that's where Abe Vigoda died. Right?
Yeah.
And then we go to the wall, to the simmering sea, or as you call it,
gonna have to stab me, kid.
The Shmir Sea.
The Shmir Sea.
The Slavers Bay. Okay, that's a little too on the nose.
Well,
it's on the opposite side of the Gulf of Grief, which surrounds Astapor. This episode brought to you by Astapor. Ask your doctor if it's right for you.
I shouldn't have had all that cheese pizza. Thanks to Astapor, my life is normal. I want to meet that guy.
Oh, man. Okay, so Astapor, I really watched their graphic tonight, and it's really cool. And there's like chains that look like they're pulling something. Was that supposed to look like the troops leaving?
I gotta be completely honest with you. This is the point when I was on Wikipedia figuring out who the hell Una Chaplin was.
And you didn't stop it? Okay, that's fine.
I didn't. I was just wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh. And then by curious coincidence, as I was falling asleep last night, I was scrolling through Reddit, and Chaplin's Great Dictator speech came up in the like old school cool subreddit that I belong to, and I'm like, I watched this because it's Charlie Chaplin, one of his speaking roles.
He was a pretty cool dude, actually. So
he had some things that might not have been cool.
Had some things.
Yeah. I might have had a few things.
But I like Charlie Chaplin, and I want to stay that way. So tell me what they are, and nobody send me anything. Okay, and I said, okay. So the first scene, Bran is dreaming again.
Oh, and I'm older than I looked the last time you saw me. Old enough that I probably have to shave currently, but you think I'm 8. Oh.
My question is, okay, so I wonder if, according to his contract, he has to get in like so many steps per season. So that's why he can't be shown just being carried around all the time. He has to have these, quote, dream sequences where he's he can run and shit.
Yeah. Later seasons, of course, they increase it from steps to parkour scenes as they have him dancing around the city of Paris on windowsills and ledges. Parkour! And behind him is Hodor, also doing the
Holy
parkour, which is
cow!
funny.
Parkour
Can you
Hodor.
imagine parkour Hodor? Ooh. I want it.
Oh,
Draw that picture. I want a T-shirt. I want. Oh. Okay, I got way too excited there. Sorry.
so the three-eyed crow's back. They love that CGI. They paid a lot for that CGI. They're going to use that fucking
It sure
CGI.
did.
So, and I'm like, he's going to kill it. That seems unwise.
Yeah, and Ghost Rob and
Jeez, that was painfully
Ghost
schmaltzy.
John stand behind him. Sure, you don't suck. You suck. Oh, look how much you suck. And then we get a little Sean Bean cameo out of the trees.
Sean Bean?
Something about our tree. Ned. The voice of Ned cometh down from upon high. And then this kid shows up. Like, who the fuck is that?
Right. I said, who is this? Should I know who this is? And he's like, you can't kill the raven. Want to know why? Want to know why? Want to know why? He's like, okay, what?
Yeah.
Because the raven is you. Try Raven perfume. The raven is you. Hodor!
From Ralph Lauren.
Oh.
Raven. And it just smells like bird shit.
I have discovered,
because of course it does.
It's berry.
Bird shit.
It's berry season here where we live, and I don't know if you've noticed, but some of the bird shits are way more colorful now.
What, a little more pinky?
I had a purple one today. I was like, oh, that's special.
Oh, blueberries got in that bird.
Yeah, like modern art.
So he wakes up with a start, right? And
like Christopher Lloyd.
Great Scott! I've been sleeping too long. Morning.
So
and Hodor comes by and goes, Hodor,
and
he's like, I'm good. Oh, Hodor. And Usha's over there looking through the top of her head. And then they start having this back and forth banter, and I realized not only does he look older, but he sounds older and is trying to sound like a little boy.
He's got Mike from Stranger Things syndrome at this point, I think, where they're trying to portray him as much younger. Yeah.
I'm only 9.
Yeah. And she's like, he's like, I didn't ask for these dreams, And she's all like, I didn't ask for these dreams.
That's what you sound like. That's what you sound like all the time.
She wants to fuck off. Yeah. He gives no fucks. And then that scene ends.
Pretty much.
I'm like, okay.
And then
we see Rob getting razzed. He's all grim. He's a grim-bearded, stinking barbarian, according to his lovely wife.
All Westerosi are bad news.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bolton shows up with 2 pieces of bad news.
And he's doing that stupid, pick a hand. Pick a hand.
Do you want to play bad news? Bad news? Bad news is...
it's all bad news.
Okay, so bad news is that Lord Tully died. Also bad news is that my bastard got to Winterfell and your boys are gone. And Theon also appears to be missing. Well...
Well, Brendan,
we knew about this a long fucking time ago.
This is exposition for those of us who have forgotten what happened last season.
Yeah. Can't remember how to do a show?
Okay, so then all of a sudden, we see Theon, and he's on an X. And he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know who's around him. And there's a guy coming at him with a knife. And here's what I wrote. Okay, spoiler. A few episodes back, we were discussing how eunuchs are cut. Like, do they just take the frank? Do they take the beans? Do they take the frank and the beans? So I was looking up that sort of thing on the internet, and I saw the phrase, what kind of eunuch is Theon Greyjoy? As a headline. And I went, so I had a pretty good idea what was about to happen next. Oh, nope. Instead, I think they're gonna whack off his junk, and instead they just shove a shiv under his fingernail, and that had to
Which is
hurt.
awful. Also, could you not say whack off his junk?
I could,
those
but why would I?
circumstances- So they got me tied to the wheel, right? And all of a sudden, I'm getting a heege. Why? This is torture? I got a heege.
Heege?
Who's complaining? Yeah.
What's a heege?
A hand job,
Oh.
Eileen. Hello.
Honest to God, I've never heard it called that.
You've never heard heege?
No, I've never.
Oh.
Oh man, I thought it was going to be
Yeah.
something like a sadomasochistic like term.
No, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, so well, yeah. See, then I would have heard about it. I mean, so
What?
Anyway, so he gets the shiv under his fingernail. I was like, "Fuck, that had to hurt." Okay, and then that scene ends.
And all I could think of was fucking District 9, man.
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's really good, but there's a scene where, spoiler alert for a movie that came out 10 years ago, where Vicus's fingernails start coming off
Oh,
because he's transforming into an alien, and it's kind of gruesome. Like, it's the worst part of the movie.
so here's something I didn't know. I have a turtle. Turtles shed their scoots. They call them. They're the scales on their
Yeah.
back. They shed them all the time. I was like, that's kind of cool. Anyway, so then we've got Jamie and Brienne coming through a shrubbery.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bustle
And a nice
in
one.
the
It's a little bit
hedgerow.
fuller on the other side.
Yeah, and he's being a prick. He's being gross.
Of course.
And then there's a
It's just
weird. Okay, what was up with the piss cam? Where the cameraman's like, "Here's a choice. You be pissing. I'm gonna scrunch down, right, like just to the left of your junk there, and I'm gonna film. Listen to me now. Stay with me here. You're going to make the perfect arc of piss, which will be hitting a tree and spattering back, assumedly at the camera guy. And he's like, I'm going to be right there, filming the scene just beyond you, under the rainbow of your piss. And he's like, got it.
Which, for the purposes of this show,
Mhm,
instead of actual piss,
mhm.
it was very clearly lemonade in the sack.
What? I don't know about. What did you see? Seeds?
No, but I've had a lot of lemonade over the last few days, and I've also peed a lot over the last few days.
So you're saying it's lemon?
And that looked
It's like the piss that comes out when you drink lemonade, or it looks like lemonade?
no like lemonade and not piss, because they probably figured, well, lemons are yellow, piss is yellow. We don't want them to actually piss, so let's do lemonade, huh? No, it looks like lemonade. It looks cloudy.
Oh. Well, he
It
might
looked
just have a
cloudy.
bladder infection.
Well,
or syphilis.
I noticed later on in the show that his teeth are exceedingly white for someone who's been wandering around in the woods forever. So
They all have perfect
they
bites.
might have got the bladder infection thing right, but they don't have the teeth thing right.
No.
So anyway, all of a sudden,
So
Mr. Fork in the Silage comes out of nowhere.
well, that was a stupid scene. Well, it pays off
was it?
later, but I mean, you knew how it was going to pay off. That other scene didn't even need to fucking happen, because you've already told us exactly what's going to happen. It was stupid from a cinematic point of view. Hi, thank you for coming to my TED Talk about the best ways to shoot a Game of Thrones episode. Anyway,
Retroactively.
yeah. So he's still being a prick, and she figures out that she had worked for Renly, right? By
Yes.
questioning her, and then talks about like what a privileged twat Renly was when they were all kids running around together.
Which is fair to say, really.
Right. And then he tells her,
all the Baratheon boys were privileged.
and he's like, well, I knew him better than you did. And she's all like, I knew as well as anyone. This is a whiny episode. But then
and then
he figures out that she had a crush on Renly. At least that's what he's implying.
it was implied that she did, according to him, although she denies it
Well,
pretty violently.
so she's not taking his bullshit. She puts him in a chokehold, and then
Wait, you forgot the funniest line ever, where he says, "It's a shame the throne isn't made out of cocks," which is kind of funny because a chair made of dicks is funny.
My dear,
I
if
don't
you don't
really.
think it exists, Google it. I'll wait.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be on a list. All right. And then immediately he says, "We don't get to choose who we love," and I'm like, "You better say that, you fucker."
Okay, so here's the funny thing. In this scene, if you look at him, he looks like a homeless person. He looks awful. He's looking rougher.
Mm.
But for some reason, they like that camera angle, or they put some contour on her blank white copy paper face and to kind of bring out a few shadows. And she's looking prettier in that scene, just from a subjective point of view, right? I thought she looked prettier, more pleasing to the eye in that moment than Jamie did. And he's always, he's pretty hot when he's not looking like Joe Walsh on a bender in 1984.
What do you mean? Life's been good to him so far.
Jamie should have killed the guy.
Get harassed by Brienne of Tarth. I can't think of it anymore. Boy, if I had time, I would have wrote a whole fucking song. Anyway.
Okay, so
what were we talking about? Oh yeah, West Country guy comes out and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" Jamie's like, "Kill that guy or he's gonna burn us in."
Yep, because
she's like, "Shut up."
He knows who I am, and she's like, "I'm not gonna kill him." And he's like, "Well, that's stupid." And I'm like, "Well, that's stupid."
You're all kind of dumb, all of you.
Everybody's dumb in this episode.
Yeah. Well,
then we go.
I don't think of anyone who is dumb.
We go to Joffrey being a fuckstick, to the guy making his suit.
Oh, I didn't get my wish.
I know. Here he was. And he's like, he's all pissy about, I didn't want flowers, and I told you I didn't want flowers. And they're and his mom's all, she's like, well, because it was like a sash that was going to go over the jacket, and she's like, well, you can always give it to Marjorie as a wedding dress. Should be enough
There's
fabric.
Certainly enough. Yeah. And I went, I mean, she kind of does wear almost dresses.
But they're so cool.
I know, and it's not a problem because she's hot.
Yeah. And
that's HAWT.
We had to see Joffrey shirtless. And
I didn't look.
No shade to the actor. Joffrey is skinny and pasty and unpleasing to look at. And she's grilling him about what he thinks of Marjorie. He doesn't think she's interesting.
Like, well, it's convenient that we're getting married. And she's like, but she's pretty and she's intelligent. And he goes, sure, whatever.
Okay, I got distracted because I just didn't fucking care what was going on. And I was like, ooh, I kind of like Cersei's new wardrobe choices. Like, she's got more hardware on her stuff now. Is it to protect herself from stray arrows, knives?
I have no idea.
I don't know. She's got like this big plate thing like right between her boobs. I was like, ooh.
Maybe she's got a weak back.
It's like a scoliosis brace.
Yeah.
Like square pegs.
I don't know. It's really hard to say. But she does suggest that Marjorie dresses like a harlot. I was indignant harlot, I say.
Yeah.
Not our sweet Marjorie. Yeah. Actually, it's not inaccurate. And then I said, "God, I hate that guy," and I can't remember why because fuck that scene. And then we went to girl talk scene.
Yeah, Sansa and Shay, and she's trying because Roz told her to protect Salsa while Baelish is around her, right?
Yeah.
And Shay's pretty sure Baelish just wants to get with her. Brown chickens, brown cows. And
yeah, brown chicken, brown cow. Yeah, precisely that.
I heard. And
let's not forget that Sansa is 14 years old in this.
And she's like, okay, how old would we put Baelish at?
35.
I was thinking between 35 and 37, right? So same ballpark. And apparently Sansa is under the impression that that's too old to have sex. I was like,
Yeah.
Well, too old for
then once you
her,
hit-
but she was implying that it's too old for anybody to have sex.
Anyone. Yeah, once you hit 33, the plumbing shuts off. I think. I don't know. What happened? There you are.
I had to cough. I've been laughing so much, my throat is so dry. My stomach hurts. Okay, so
they get her dressed up, and then Loris comes. She's like, "Hello, would you like to dine with my sister and our grandmother in the garden? May I escort you?" And like, wow, Loris, get it done, buddy.
Good on you, Laura.
And they have a nice little walk into the nice little gardens, and then all of a sudden,
Diana Rigg, motherfucker. Being all witty and dowager countess about shit. Not giving
who
a
clearly
fuck.
has she's got a horrible toothache with all that head wrapping going on.
Regarding her looks, and again, I love you, Diana Rigg. Don't come, don't hurt me. But in this scene with that hat, she looks like a skeleton peeking through the crotch of a pair of blue tights.
A wimple!
No. Did you hear what I said, Mike?
Yeah, it is a skeleton peeking through the crotch of powder blue tights, even.
And then I wrote lemon cakes. Yum.
Yeah, I like a lemon cake. And I wrote, she's old!
Oh.
And then she said something, and I Mike brought this up before the show. I really want to press on this a little bit. Once the cow's been milked, there's no hope of putting the cream back in the udders. And I went, this old lady is Dr. Phil. Because that's the same sort of shit. Now you say here, just because a cat has kittens in the oven, it don't mean they're biscuits, right? So once a cow's been milked, there ain't no hope of squeezing the udders back. You know what? We're going to go to commercial as I am going to hell.
I'm going to wet myself.
That's a Dr. Phil thing. Speaking of squeezing.
Even though the cat has kittens, it doesn't mean they're biscuits.
Dr. Fuck Phil.
Oh, God. I'm done.
I gotta say, down in Texas, I don't know. I hit my head earlier today, and I can't remember any of my charming country witticisms.
Oh, I'm dying. Oh, man. I think that's it. Thanks for listening. No.
No. I gotta finish this. Gotta finish the episode.
So anyway.
So speaking of udders and squeezing, Olita's trying to squeeze information out of Sansa regarding Joffrey.
Nice transition.
Yeah.
And I said,
I had that typed out.
Will she tell them? Will she tell them? Is this the scene where, they say she...
His Grace is fair and powerful and strong and big, and here's a massive erection. And they're all like, not a chance. Tell us what's up. I want some tea on Joff.
And she's like,
oh, he's a fucking monster. He tried to kill me. He hates everyone. And he wants you all to die.
Okay.
And then I got mad.
Don't worry. Well, the first thing I said, wait a minute. I actually wrote that. Wait a minute. Like I needed to tell myself. The premise said, Sansa says too much. And Olenna just said, we would never betray your confidence. Something is going to get fucked up. Also, the cheese arrived, so everything's okay.
I was mad when the cheese got there.
I was hoping it'd be like little cut-up cheese. It was clearly like a bowl of feta.
Well, there was also...
Gross.
No, if you looked on the tray around it, there was like slices. I wrote, that's a lot of fucking cheese. And that is not nearly in proportion to the teeny weeny lemon cakes. Because I would eat the fuck out of lemon cakes. Cheese is just cheese, especially back then.
Well, I just had it.
What?
Olenna is very similar to Olestra. So clearly, she's got some sort of problem with anal leakage and needs the cheese to bind her up. or she's going to have to go to Astapor. We got to figure it out.
Okay. We've solved it. We've solved the riddle. Okay.
I get Game of Thrones.
All right. So then, okay. So I said, who are these people? And I was like, oh, it's Robabuzz guys. And Karstark is like,
yeah, this is a waste of fucking time.
You've
And Rob's like, my grandfather's. It's grandfather's, is that right? My grandfather's funeral's a waste of time?
Yeah.
Fuck your face.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck your face.
And then he's like,
real good back
you've been sucking since your girlfriend came into the picture.
Wife. Woo,
I know.
wife.
I know. But
they're married.
Yeah, they're married. So then, okay. Then we get to Cat making another weird dream catcher thing.
Always with the goddamn crash show. It's like, I want Cat at some point to just do an aside to the camera and go, you too can make one of these fancy child helping dream catchers by going to Michael's Crafts. Check your local listings for a store near you. Back to the story.
And we hear about one of the kids having the pox, and she took care of him, and blah, 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 and it was Jon Snow, right?
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I wanted that kid to die, and I'm like, that's kind of a bitchy thing.
Okay, so so this is where the wishes come in that we were talking about at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
She wished for him to die, and it almost came true. So she's a murderer with a prayer. I'm like, fucking Jesus Christ. So everybody who then prays for something good to happen that, doesn't happen, are they murdering because their prayers weren't good enough? This is fucking bizarre. Anyhow, so she made bargains for his life, but she didn't follow through, and good on her because it meant fucking nothing. He was either going to die or he wasn't.
Yeah, because prayer is meaningless. Have we talked about this before? No.
Yeah. So everything.
It's just talking to yourself. That's all it is. It's just talking to yourself.
It's like therapy. You don't have to pay for. Hey.
Yeah, with the worst listener in the world.
No, I was just going to say, I think the opposite. At least when I'm talking to myself, I know somebody's listening. So.
Yeah, but you're not getting any creative pushback because the only response is the one that you come up with.
So then she says, like, everything's fucked up because she didn't love a motherless child. And I'm like, oh, for fucking schmaltzeroonie.
Schmaltzeroonie.
So then...
Come right up, get your schmaltzeroonie. We got baskets of schmaltzeroonie.
So,
also buy a bucket of great googly moogly. It's great.
Camper Snape is there. And he's... Oh, no, we decided it was Scoutmaster Snape.
Scoutmaster Snape. Bran Flakes, the wall behind the king. Everyone hates the cave people. Yeah, he's talking about how hard it is to get everyone to work together.
Yes. Okay.
And Eileen, you take it away. Yes. I even turned my mic off for this.
He's talking about how hard it is to be in charge. And he just like, do you know how hard it is to unite 90 clans? And then in my head, I heard a guitar strum. This is a song I wrote called Everyone Hates the Cave People.
And it's just a Morrissey song.
They speak 7 different languages. The Thems hate the Hornfoots. The Hornfoots hate the Ice River clans, but everyone hates the Cave People.
Yeah!
And then he's like, you know how I got moon worshippers and cannibals and giants to march in the same army? Now, before he answers that, don't say it yet. I want you to come up with the first best answer to that question other than the actual answer. So, how did he get moon worshippers, cannibals, and giants to march in the same army? Spencer.
An outstanding dental plan.
Mike.
John Philip Sousa.
I said CrossFit. Also, I came up with Mary Kay or yodeling. Or yodeling CrossFit, where they sell Mary Kay.
Actually, CrossFit is how Jesus stayed so buff.
Mormon. You mean like big buff Mormon Jesus?
I got to do some Sousa, so I'm happy.
So the actual answer is boring. It's like, I told him the truth. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, you're all going to die unless we go south. Would have been more. I would have.
told him.
I wanted to see a yodeling CrossFit montage, honestly.
So they walk away, and then there's it's Thormund Giant Slayer, and Ransmater and John and one of the goofy pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it might actually be one of them.
It looks like something from. It does look like he looked like something from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
And I think he may actually have been one of the actors who played one of the two goofball pirates.
Well,
and he's the one with the wooden eye that kept popping out all over the place.
Okay, if you made this connection in your little brainy, right, just from watching this, and you didn't look it up anywhere or anything, that is an amazing. But if it's completely wrong, I still love that you thought and made that connection, Spencer. So
you want me to find out?
So this guy wakes up, right? He's got like a white.
I'm glad you care.
Milky glass eyes, right? And he's like, "What the fuck's up with this guy?" Jon Snow is, and they're like, "Oh, he's a warg. He sees through the animals." And he's like, "The fuck?" And his girlfriend's all like, "What? You never seen a warg? Are we even here right now? I mean,
yeah. Don't you know anything from like?"
And here's where I said, "Is Bran a warg?" Wrote it right here in my notes. Spoiler.
I wrote like Bran.
There you go. So they wake him up. I'm like, at first they like kind of creep up on him like he has to finish his thing naturally. But then they just like, wake the fuck up. Pushes him. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that like waking? Oh, that's just rude. So he was a bird. He was the bird that was flying. I guess they must have saw him go into his body, and he went to the Fist of the First Men and saw dead crows. And then you see the line of guys, like the Monty Python monks, that smack themselves in the head with boards.
Yeah. I have news.
Yeah.
The character Oral, who was the warg, is played by Mackenzie Crook, who played Rigetti in Pirates of the Caribbean.
What? The actual fuck?
Yep. I looked it up.
Wow.
And I nailed it.
You did.
Nailed it. That's the last thing I'm getting right forever.
Oh my God. So Sam, it's of course the fucking crow people. They're walking. Sam's getting razzed by an asshole. They're fat shaming him.
Well, Sam's weeping openly. So peculiar because I made a boo boo. Probably she said the raven, but now the raven's so kind. I'm so sorry.
And I was like, I don't like this scene.
Wow, buddy.
And then the
Rast is like,
gives him a pep talk.
The best thing ever happens, though.
Yeah.
JR comes by and goes, Charlie, I forbid you to die.
Yeah.
That's pretty banging. And then Rast, keep Sam alive. Like, oh no.
Yep.
He was just picking on him. Couldn't you have picked one of his other buddies? Like literally anybody else? Nope.
But it's motivation.
That was good. Yeah.
Because he's like, and if he dies, you die. So, it's like those posters they used to have in the offices in the 90s.
Like with a cat hanging there?
If they die, if he dies, you die.
Yeah. Make sure to meet your quotas or we'll skin you alive. You miserable.
If we die, you die. Okay.
Thanks for working at Skin Corp.
It's so okay. Then we see a tree, and I was like, "Is Bran dreaming again?" But no, it was just Osha is there, and the wolf is there, and so I'm gonna recommend
CGI this summer.
Okay, so the wolf is CGI to our levels, and that's all there is to it, right? But
I know some people that could do a better job making summer with Blender.
So she's creepy Davin along. If you haven't seen the Frank video with Creepy Dave. Hi, I'm a Creepy Dave.
Aha.
He's a vulture.
Here comes Creepy Dave. Everybody call me Creepy Dave.
It's very funny. Anyway,
Yeah.
so she's like sneaking into the woods, and here I am doing a visual.
Good visual there.
And then all of a sudden,
I do them all the time. Don't feel
it's
bad.
it's the boy from the dream. And
Yeah.
fuck me if who the fuck is this kid? Because he looks really, really, really familiar. Like he's been in something recently.
I can tell you that he did not play the other pirate in Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think you're. Oh God.
His name is Jojen Reed.
Oh, I said Jojo Reed. It's Jojen.
Jojen.
And his spunky sister Mira.
Yeah, she shares lots of fun.
Yeah.
But he needs protected.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Ugh.
After a fashion, they don't seem so bad.
I know, but he says that they've been looking for Bran. I'm like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
And then, okay, so Arya and Gendry and Hachacha are all discussing her deal with the faceless dude, and they're pissed because they feel that she wasted her choices, right? They're like, dude, you could have got Joffrey. You could have got Tywin.
Yeah, you got the tickler. You got the guy who tried breaking into the office. You got the guy himself.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well have just said, well, who do I want to get rid of? Well, okay. I'm going to pick 3 people to remove from the earth permanently, and you're going to kill them. Yes, that's how this works. All right, Bill O'Reilly. I just don't like him.
Nobody does.
That my pillow guy, that guy irritates me.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're on the subject of people who sell things on TV, the Chamois guy could take a run and jump. Off you go there.
What is it for Chamois guy? Did he turn out to be problematic?
Yeah, because he beat up a prostitute, and then he himself got beat up by that prostitute.
I have never heard this story.
Yeah, the Chamois guy's a sex pest, and you're gonna love my nuts. He also said that on TV.
You're gonna love my nuts. Watch this. Almonds, walnuts, comes with a cover, so you can do everything in the cover.
Which is something you should never say. Yeah, well, he's doing the slap chop.
He did not do the slap chop. Did he?
He did the slap chop and the ShamWow, and he's like, "You're gonna love my nuts." Like, wow, this guy's a fucking sex pest and a sex pest.
Oh, man.
I don't really care if any of those people go. I got a better list. There's like 3 shitty choices.
Yeah. So, okay, I do have to say though that her last deal with them was pretty fucking good because she got him, right?
Yeah, they got out of the place.
Yeah.
So that was the whole point.
Right. So then they're talking about they're lost, right? Because none of them paid attention in Scoutmaster Snape's camp for good boys, right? So Arya's like, she's like, we should have hit a big ass river by now, right? If we find it,
yeah, it's 100 feet wide.
We can follow it to River Run. And I went, oh, that's why it's called River Run.
And I'm like, don't go to River Run. It's not good right now because Lord of River Run's dead, but she doesn't know that.
I'm like, oh, damn, that's a bad idea, Arya. And Grandpapa is gone. All gone.
And all of a sudden, there's singing in the woods. For he is brave, so Robin, come forth from Camelot. And it's... All right, skip a bit, would you? And she's like, oh, peeps, hide behind this curiously built wall with a hole in it.
No, I paused it. That was supposed to be like an aqueduct or a bridge. Oh, Mike's actually got the coconuts, but his mic is muted.
He has coconuts. Oh, I want to hear that. Ah! 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 Whoa! Who goes there? We could do that whole movie.
We've got the coconuts.
That's all we really need.
We don't need any talent or a script.
Hello, who is it? It is I, Arthur, King of the Britons. Okay, sorry. I don't want to.
Come back or I will taunt you again. Okay.
So she's like looking through the hole in this bridge aqueduct wall.
All Goonies style, right? Yep. They're looking through.
What's that?
Mm-hmm.
And shook, comes an arrow, and the singing stops.
Well, you forgot the first Hot Licks thinks they should jump them because
Hot licks, hot licks, hot licks. Hot pie, 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 hot pie. Hot pocket.
he thinks they should jump them because sometimes minstrels have gold.
Yeah, that's the worst
What
idea
the
ever.
fuck? Minstrels never have fucking gold. That's why they're always playing stupid ass songs trying to get some gold.
Yeah, I've been playing guitar for 25 years. You know how much money I made off it? Get nothing. You get laid once, but get nothing otherwise.
Just once.
Once. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway,
So this guy,
it's like 20 years ago, so it doesn't matter.
he's
But still.
singing, and I'm like, he thinks he's a fucking rock star. He looks okay. He looks like Woody Harrelson cosplaying as a D&D paladin.
Yeah. That's pretty close.
Okay, I know nothing
name is-
about D&D other than the podcast I listen to, so don't judge me if I fuck that up. As far as the outfit
Okay,
goes,
maybe a bard. First of all, be a bard.
no, the way he was dressed was more of a paladin. I mean, it was like the quilty coat kind of thing.
I'll give it to you.
D&D, so if I'm fucking this up,
Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't
just
suggest
fucking
that.
with Spencer's head.
The
at the moment.
bard.
But this guy's
Bard would be
wailing,
better.
right?
His name is Thoros of Mir.
Yeah. So I didn't care.
Rose, yeah.
So he goes. So an arrow goes through the hole, right? And Arya's like, okay. She comes out and she's like, threatens them.
Yeah. Come on down here and do that again. And she's like this tiny little girl with a sword that is long and she is tall.
And he's like, he's got his hand on her forehead, and she's just not quite. Her arms just aren't quite long enough. So she threatens them,
more or less.
right? And he's like,
And she's like,
okay. And there's goofy
how did
music.
you get out of Harrenhal? Yeah.
Right? There's goofy music underneath all of this part, so you know that it's going to be okay, right? This guy's whoever, and he's the guy. He fights for the Brotherhood without banners. That was the part you didn't see in the opening. And so then they're sitting in a tavern eating, right?
Well, that's later.
But-
yeah.
But we find out that this is the guy who puts the rats in the cages strapped to guys' chests. Remember that
No.
scene?
She thought that would happen if they went back to Harrenhal because people were asking about the Brotherhood. without banners.
Okay.
I want to say Doctors Without Borders because that sounds
Brothers Without Banners.
yeah.
For
Anyway,
59 cents a
his-
day,
his-
you can support Brotherhood Without Banners.
I almost started singing a Sarah McLachlan song, but I don't want to ruin my life. All right, so this buddy's like, see, fat boy.
Fat
I'm gonna
shaming.
fire this
So much
arrow.
fucking fat shaming in this episode. I didn't like it.
Look, as a fat boy, I appreciated this particular line. I'm gonna fire this arrow straight up, and it's gonna come down and land in your head as soon as I'm done talking. So you better move because I'm done talking.
Shoom.
Hot pie moves. Shoop. Oh, nice shot.
That was again a pointless fucking scene.
Let's go have dinner.
It was a neat arrow trick, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was something to prove that he knew what he was talking
Okay,
about.
so then we cut to Tyrion, and Shay's there, and he's pissed because she's there, and I'm like, oh, they will be trouble.
So I ran into a friend at the docks, a friend of Sansa's. She's like, you should like keep an eye on Littlefinger and
Yeah, how do you
and
know
he's
who
like,
Roz is?
Oh, I may have fucked her
He's
once.
twice.
I mean,
three
twice.
times
Three
a lady.
times a lady. Ooh,
We both sang that very badly.
yes, that
Yeah.
was brutal.
Don't.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
He's wincing.
Mike's like, oh God, can't hear you. Anyway,
Yeah, and she's toying with his emotions. He says it's cruel and unfair, cruelly unfair, which I typed. I don't know why. She basically pulled the whole "Do I look fat in this dress?" trick. With reference to other like Sansa and Roz, as it turns out, like any other woman in the universe. And she's like, you know who that person is? Did you fuck her too? Well, no, I mean,
yeah.
I did, but no, I mean, oh, And I kind of hated this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then she gives him a beej, which is the oral equivalent of a heej. Remember we learned that earlier, Eileen?
Yes. And I said, oh, here's the slurping noises that Spencer loves so
Yeah,
much.
because I didn't hear any slurping. I just heard him go, ah, which is TV code for a beej. Again, that's the oral equivalent of a heej.
Okay, so Margie's going to go see Fuckaroonie, right? And he's in a weird spot. I paused it at one scene. Okay, so on my screen, it looked like those. Have you played those hidden object games? Right, where it's like some gothic scene, and you have to like find a nutcracker, a crab, a penny.
For some reason, there's a baseball glove on this parapet.
Right.
Yeah.
It's in sepias and reds, and then it had just a pop of blue from her dress, which would be the ghost in the corner. It's always a ghost in the corner.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that was my excited noise.
I was like, where the fuck is he? Anyway, he's a fucker, and he's talking about Renly, how he's a traitor, and she plays dumb, and he's like, how come you never got preggers? And she's like, well,
Renly didn't really like vagina.
Yeah, right. She explains he was gay. And so this is basically talking dirty to him at this point, because I said, oh shit, Joffrey's gay.
I don't think that's what I got out of this. But what I did get was, he said, okay, well, let's go back to the beginning of she walks in.
Mm-hmm. There's a crab and a nutcracker and a penny.
Lovingly cradling his crossbow. And he says, I'm preparing for a hunt. And I went, yeah, you're going to go. Okay. He hunts. And I am really, really good at basketball. None of those things are true. He doesn't fucking hunt. That twerp. Oh, goodness, dirt. Make it go away. That's all that the countryside is made of, Your Grace. Well, I say, dirt shall now be illegal. Fuck that guy. He doesn't hunt. And, the Renly trader thing.
She wants to go hunting with him.
Yeah, and she also suggested that Renly at one point got real drunk and suggested butt stuff. And she's like, nah.
Right. I said, oh, dang, she found his kink.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Joffrey, he did get a little during this whole talk, but
that was gross.
I don't know what I don't know. And then he shot a boar through the nostrils, which was kind of fun. Or eyeballs.
Well, see, okay, so
a mounted boar.
I don't know. It was something gross. Oh, I hit a chipmunk today with my car.
You monster.
I know, yesterday. Because yesterday
I've done that before.
And it was horrifying because I didn't realize it until I get out of the car and I looked behind, and there it is. It's laying there. And just one of its eyeballs was popped out like those, those squeezy heads where the eyeballs. And I went, oh, that's really what happens.
Okay, I got to tell you about the time I hit a chipmunk, and I'll make this quick. So I'm working, right? And I'm up north, and I'm driving around in my truck. I'm driving around in my truck. And this chipmunk tried to dash out and run underneath the truck. I thought he was going to make it, but he caught the back wheel going out. And I felt it because there was like because I just crushed some poor animal. And then I looked in the mirror, and he was just going like breakdancing in the middle of the road. And I went, "Oh, that's horrible, but funny." Because he was like literally spinning ass over tea kettle over and over, just like. When I came back the same way, he was gone.
We are really. We do not advocate.
Fuck PETA, they're a bunch of psychos.
Farming animals. Please don't come after us. We have no money.
I beg to differ. I enjoy harming a beef.
Well, right.
Like to eat.
Okay.
And also a chicken.
So you're a chicken?
And also a chicken.
And also a chicken.
I like many of the animals, but I don't want to hurt them. I like cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Lots.
Okay, Theon again. And
getting hurt up uglies.
Man. So they're like,
what are they doing to him?
I don't know. They're like, why did you take Winterfell? He gives some bullshit answer. Who gave the order? Bullshit answer. And he's like, I did it on my own. They're literally turning the screws on him. I'm like, oh, this is what turns the screws on you means.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the normal screws. That was something weird.
I think it's attached to his scrotum. To his pee-pee.
Mike just mouthed something.
No?
And
Is
I
it a
don't know what
rack?
it was.
You don't know? Do you know?
No.
No, it was on his foot, and it was like a drill bit that they were screwing into his foot.
Oh, I didn't
know
get that.
that.
Why didn't I get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The screws is.
I mean, they showed it
is
in
part of the
profile a
rack.
couple of times. You could see the big bit. It's like a 2-inch bit. I mean, it is
I
I
nasty.
didn't realize his foot was in
I
there.
thought it was like just into some sort of mechanism that was turning, like making it whatever was happening to him
Ooh.
worse.
No, there was blood oozing out of it.
Okay.
I
I
see.
thought
I
it was
didn't know
wood
where that blood was
shavings.
coming from. Yeah, wood
Yes.
shavings typically liquid and red.
You're the air on the carpentry. I do.
Eileen only does her woodworking on corpses.
Hey, it's a hobby.
That's the sap you get from the bloodwood trees. You see.
Oh, yeah, the whatever they
yeah.
are, where Abe Vigoda died.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
and this is
Can I make
such.
a table out of this, buddy?
I don't know what the point of having this look like a crucifixion scene was, though.
He can't scratch. That's why he got his arms tied up. Mike has a point.
Because if you paid attention to Roose Bolton's banner, it's an X cross with a flayed man
Right,
on it.
and that comes
So
up
that's giving
later.
you some
the
right,
flayed
but
man.
those banners have been seen before. And he said he sent his bastard son to Winterfell, and so he's on this X cross, or St. Andrew's cross is what it's called. So that kind of gives you an insight as to who's doing the torturing.
Ah,
Okay,
so it's bastard.
so then
Roose, you said his name was Roose?
whatever. So he tells them the truth. They turn the screw again. Then they fuck off, and the stable boy is like takes the hood off.
Sweeping guy. Your sister sent me.
His sister sent him. I'm like, Jesus, he's fucking whiny. I mean,
Oh, take me down. Don't leave me. Oh, please.
I know. I would have been like, shut up, or I'm going to turn the fucking screw. Listen,
I'm going to loosen this a little bit, but I want you to shut the fuck up. Don't leave me. Remember what I said about fuck and how you should shut up it?
Hmm? Okay, so Rickon runs off. So, okay, now we go back to the Bran Flakes and the whole box of cereal. And Rickon runs off. And so Bran sends the wolf after him. And I'm like, who the fuck is this kid actor? He looks familiar. Like, really?
His name is Thomas Brody Sangster, and he was in the Queen's Gambit.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm like, I've seen this kid.
I have not seen the
You're
Queen's
welcome.
Gambit. What's up?
I just started watching.
I said you're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
You
you
said
again.
thank you. I said you're
So
welcome.
he tells Bran that Bran's a warg, and I'm like, ding, 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 knew it.
Yeah,
They talk about
and he's a work too.
and and it's like finally Bran has somebody you can talk about this, not just Osha, who's like, I don't want to hear your bullshit. They're like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
like
and
the
not just
three-eyed
us,
raven,
we
right?
don't-
Like, yeah, did you see that? Just like, yeah. And then he says, how long have you been warging? I was like, that's a
I don't know you
verb.
I didn't know that. I thought warg was a noun. I didn't know you could verb
How
that.
long have you been warging?
How long have you been penising?
No,
Well, all my life.
the raven.
Is that a thing?
Oh, and then they talk about the raven brings the sight, and he's got the shinning, and then you go to the girls, and so they're doing girl talk, and they're trying to outmood each other.
The shitting, like The Shining?
The shinning. Did you see that Simpsons
shinning.
episode where Bart has the shinning?
No. All I can think about is The Shining.
It's
now. I
groundskeeper
don't know.
Willie. Like,
Yeah.
you've got the shinning boy.
You've got the shinning.
You mean shining?
Shh. You want to get sued?
So apparently these kids, Jojen and Mira,
Mhm.
their father Howland Reed is one of Ned's bannermen.
Mhm.
I guess that's something I learned. And he was a good guy.
Mhm.
They're good. I tell you what, I know a lot of things about these fellas, but basically, he's a good guy.
I think they were also a team in the Hunger Games.
He's a good guy.
On the island, that's like a clock. Okay, so
I never watched that movie. Oh, I know he's a good guy.
okay, so then there's like weird dad talk
I'm
and
gonna say that over and
romantic.
over.
It got a little weird. It got a little romantic. I'm thinking these are 14-year-old boys. He's like, it's like
Who's the most special boy? You're the most special
the only
boy.
thing that matters. You. I'm like, what the
Aw.
fuck? So then we're at the tavern with the weird guys and the
Here's
kids.
your fucking Hallmark card, asshole.
Okay, so then they're asking, how those kids got out of Harrenhal, right? And
Yeah.
she's bragging
yeah.
and she challenges them to a sword fight. And I went, oh, don't do
Yeah,
this.
that was really bad, Arya. Don't do that. This guy's clearly
Yeah.
outmatched. He's got a flagon of ale while they're sword fighting. And never spills any. He's like,
Yeah,
well, cool. Pick up your sword, eat your food, off you go.
And then he's like, yeah.
I mean,
And he's like, eat up and get the fuck out. And they're like, and then they bring in a dude. And I'm like, oh no, they have Hodor. I
said,
couldn't put that
"Oh,
together in
look
my
at
head. And they're like, oh no, it's the mountain.
This is
No, it's the hound.
an uncommonly large person.
and I'm like, who else? There's 3 of them.
Yeah,
Which uncommonly oh, okay. It's the
it's
hound.
the hound. And
What
so,
are you doing with the,
oh yeah,
what are you doing with this stock, bitch?
yeah, he outs her big time.
And nothing happens. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be thinking about that all
Right.
week.
Yeah, because that's the last we see of that. And then, so then we go to Brienne and her pet asshole being an asshole. And they have to
Yeah,
decide
with
if they're
his
going to
extremely white
swim or take the bridge. And so she's like, she decides they would take the bridge. And he's like, well, this is dumb. This is stupid. And then he just goes all boneless on her and like lays on the bridge.
I'm gonna
I'm
go
like, what?
floppy like a tired cat.
What are you doing? It's like, and then
I'm a tired kitty.
so he stands up and like takes away her sword. It was basically a move to get
One of 'em, yeah.
get her to try to pick him up, and he grabs her sword, and they do a Jedi sword fight on the bridge.
Pretty good. I did what you do. I wrote clang, clang,
I
clang.
did. I wrote he's impressed. He's giving her pointers. I'm like, well, there's a way to piss somebody off. There's a lot of ugh and grunt and
Yeah.
clang. If you don't kill me, I'll kill you.
Well, I didn't write
More
ug
clang,
or
clang, clang,
grunt. I just
clang.
wrote left and clang.
Okay, the coolest thing though, she's like walking up to him all, and she's dragging her steel along the bridge, sharpening it. I'm like, that was
Yeah.
pretty fucking cool. I would do that.
That was all right.
I'm going to use
More
that
clang,
move at some
and that-
point. I don't know what I'm going to sharpen.
Well, whatever.
A
your
pencil.
sword. I need to make this tick mark extra dark.
It's like, who are these fuckers? They're going to take Jamie,
Yeah,
that-
they're part of.
the guy that they let go,
Yeah,
paddled, and they're
they
from
did.
the House of the Flayed Man.
They're- Yeah, Bolton's guys.
And that's when I wrote, guest starring Diana Rigg. This is big news. That's who the skeleton in the crotch panties are. So
I also saw. I saw your favorite McTechnie after the Lisa McTechnie with the great name.
Yeah.
That's a good name for a band.
So Mike, what
Mecca-
what did we miss? Sometimes Mike has thoughts on. I can't believe you didn't mention the.
No, the only thing I had was milk into the udder,
The
which
udder.
with the,
And I
milk
I mean,
back
that
into
was
the udder.
great.
I didn't even try that one.
Oh, I did have something to mention. You had asked last week about Astapor,
Uh-huh.
which we didn't go
Uh-huh.
to, which was funny because they put it on the opening credits, but we didn't go to Astapor.
We did not.
we didn't
and-
go to the Dragonstone
And
either.
the you had asked what that thing in the distance was, but they did a close up on it during the opening. It's a big bird
Oh,
because you said what is in the distance?
big
It's a
gold
big
thing?
bird with boobies. Yeah, it's a big bird
Nice.
with boobies. Yeah.
Is it a breasted phoenix or something?
is it a blue-footed booby?
It's a gold-footed booby.
Sorry.
It's a titty tit.
Aw.
But that's it.
Booby tit boob tit titty boob. I don't know. Birds. I mean, really.
Okay. Anything else, Mike?
That was really
Nope,
fun
that's
to
it.
say.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much for being here with us. We hope you enjoy the
Poor
show, that you
Spencer.
share it, talk to your friends about us, and we can't wait to do it again next week. But until then, we want to thank our producer, Mike,
Thanks, Mike.
and the
You're welcome.
and the fine folks over at Ninja Nerve Studios. If you want to yell at us, you can email royalhighnesspod@gmail.com. Don't even ask Spencer.
Did we get
no.
an email? Oh.
If you write to us, we'll read it on the air, even if you say we suck at shit. 'Cause we don't give a fuck. We're not making
At
any
this
money,
point, it's
so
just,
who
it's
cares?
just fun to talk.
I'll read them on podcast. So you can find us on Facebook when I remember to update that. And we have a Mastodon account, but I've never looked at it. I'm going to be at Dragon Con on Labor Day weekend. If you see me walking around in a Royal Highness t-shirt, please say hi and I'll give you a sticker. Or don't say hi and I'll probably try to foist one on you anyway. I'm going to be sneaking them into... I'm going to be sneaking them into people's pockets when they aren't looking. In a respectful way. In a respectful way. And I guess nobody's going to be wearing a jacket because it's probably going to be hot as blazes in Atlanta on Labor Day weekend would be my guess. Because temperatures in the world are crazy right now.
Well, not here. They're perfect here.
Here, they're fine. But I'm saying, like, in the world, they're saying there's a place in the world where the temperatures have almost reached the point where people cannot survive in it.
I heard that the other day at an airport in Saudi Arabia. It was 153 degrees.
Royal Highness is produced by Injured Nerves Productions and is available on all major podcast platforms. The opinions and comments expressed here are those of the hosts and their guests and are not affiliated in any way with HBO or the Game of Thrones series. If you want to contact us, you can do so at royalhighnesspod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. We hope you come back to listen again.